Hello everyone and welcome to the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo. I'm your host Joe Rimmer, joined today by Theo and Paul to talk about some absolutely devastating news to wake up to today. Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died at the age of 28, killed in a car crash alongside his brother Andre in Spain. Paul, just unimaginable news really. Been in this job a long time, but some days just hit you like a brick, don't they? It's incredibly sad.
Yeah,
news.
it's certainly not a type of story we used to covering as sports reporters, is it? We're normally talking about Liverpool, transfer news, whatever's happening, games, matches, tactics, all that sort of stuff. But this is just, a human story, isn't it? A heartbreaking piece of news that has left, obviously family, friends and colleagues of Diogo Jota heartbroken, really. Just a total shock to the system. Everyone connected to Liverpool, whether it be the reporters who like us, who cover it day in, day out, obviously the people at the club, the players, the fans, it's just the general worldwide bubble. It's just, everyone's in mourning, aren't they, today? Just horrendous news to wake up to have to report on and try and do some digging on and unearth some news of what has happened. So we believe that the accident happened around about 12:30 a.m. this morning in northern Spain. Some reports that were just breaking as we were coming on to record this podcast suggested that he was on his way to make a ferry, towards Liverpool. He was obviously scheduled to be back in pre-season training imminently, having enjoyed some holiday time, and he played for Portugal, didn't he, at the Nations League last month. He's been married, 10 days, is it? Something like that. Married to his long-time partner on the 22nd of June. 3 children who he now leaves behind. So it's just, a heartbreaking story, a tragedy that we are covering in real time and trying to reflect and offer some sense of, perspective and what it all means for everyone involved. And it's just a horrendous piece of news. Only 28. His younger brother was with him, 26 years old. 2 professional footballers who, carving out their own career path, weren't they? And our thoughts just go out to their families. It's just a terrible piece of news that we're having to react to.
Yeah, the club followed up with a statement of their own about 10:30 this morning, Theo. But it's a club in mourning, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's only a few weeks ago where we saw Diogo Jota at the heart of all those title celebrations, jumping up and down in front of the Kop, joining in, singing his chant. He's such a popular figure in that Liverpool squad. He's been so key, hasn't he, for so many big moments over the years as well. Always steps up with big goals, and I'm sure he would have liked to have scored more this season, but he's still so many big moments there, like the Merseyside derby, getting the winner there. It's just such a shock to the system. Like, you don't expect to report on this. You don't expect to wake up to something like this. As Gorsty said, he was due back in Liverpool and over the weekend, on Monday, whatever, for the start of pre-season, looking ahead towards the new campaign. The last month, 6 weeks, 2 months has been big celebrations for him. He's won the Premier League. He's won the Nations League with Portugal. He's got married. He's still so young. He's so much to look forward to. It's just a horrible shock to the system. And then how the Liverpool squad will be feeling as well. They were supposed to be welcoming him back in a few days, all catching up over after having the summer away, talking about what they've been up to, congratulating them on getting married. And now one of the players who's been right at the heart of everything at this football club for the last 5 years is no longer with us. It's just awful news.
Yeah, just 2 minutes ago, Jurgen Klopp, Diogo Jota's long-time manager, has posted on Instagram, I'll read that to you. "This is a moment where I struggle. There must be a bigger purpose, but I can't see it. I'm heartbroken to hear about the passing of Diogo and his brother Andre. Diogo was not only a fantastic player, but also a great friend, a loving and caring husband and father. We will miss you so much. All my prayers, thoughts and power to Rute, the kids, the family, the friends and everyone who loved them. Rest in peace. Love, Jay." I mean, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it, Paul? That he was a fantastic footballer, gave Liverpool fans so many happy memories, but this was a husband, a father. Seeing pictures of his 3 young children is just devastating. Yeah. He was 28 years old, and the Jota family have lost both him and his brother in a tragic accident. It's hard to put into words, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, like you say, but we're still reacting to it, aren't we, in real time? It's only sort of maybe 3 hours ago that the news started filtering through from Spain about this horrendous accident, this tragic accident, and we are just trying to sort of piece together our thoughts at the moment. It's horrendous, it's something pretty sure you guys are in the same boat. We've never covered anything like it. The tragic, sudden and shock death of an athlete in his prime, really. A key member of that Liverpool Premier League title-winning team, and it's just such shocking news. And obviously the great and the good of football have been paying their tributes today, haven't they? I felt for Darwin Núñez. I saw his response on social media. Good friends with Jota, as a lot of them were, obviously, in the team, and it's just heartbreaking for them. How do they process this type of news? Obviously Jurgen Klopp there as manager for 4 years. Steven Gerrard, of course, all these sorts of big, huge names of the sport. Cristiano Ronaldo, Jamie Carragher's had his say, and I think the one constant theme that's coming back is how sort of well respected and loved Jota was from people who knew him, people who appreciated him for what he was as a footballer. Maybe didn't know him personally, but certainly appreciated what he could do as an athlete, as a sportsman. Just seems to be universal respect for him, really. And I had the chance to speak to Diogo last summer in Philadelphia on the pre-season tour, and a lot of it centred around his sort of injury troubles at Liverpool and how desperate he was to put that right. And the one thing that always shone through whenever we had the chance to speak to him, I'm sure you can agree with this, Theo, if you had the chance yourself, it's just how sort of he was unassuming, but he was also very intelligent. You could tell he gave some real thought as to what your question was, and he wasn't a big talker, but he was certainly a deep thinker of football, and he had his other loves, didn't he? His love of e-sport, and I was speaking to someone quite recently at the club, and they were talking about how much he loved darts and horse racing, and he was just an avid sports lover. And yeah, it's just tragic news, and like I say, we are just looking to sort of react to it and piece it together. And it's unlike anything that we've ever done on this podcast, I think.
Yeah. Look, I'll read you a couple of the tributes because I think they're better than anything we can say here. Núñez's, there are no words of comfort for so much pain. I will always remember you with your smile as a good companion on and off the field. I send all my strength to his family from where he is. I'm sure he will always be with you, especially his wife and 3 children. And then he uses the Spanish for rest in peace for Diogo. And then Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the world's most recognisable footballers, but Diogo Jota's teammate, Portugal teammate for a long time, posted quite a heartfelt tribute. It makes no sense. He says, just now we were together in the national team. Just now you got married to your family, to your wife and your children. I send my condolences and wish all the strength in the world. I know you will always be with them. Rest in peace, Diogo and Andre. We will miss you. Again, Theo, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? He was a popular teammate, a popular man. It just speaks volumes about how sad it is.
Yeah, it does. I'm sure if we were doing a podcast and say he was leaving Liverpool, we'd be saying similar things to him in terms of tributes. No one would have ever had a bad thing to say about Diogo Jota. No. He's always this beaming smile, so positive, so loved. Like one of my lasting memories of him will be when he scored against Nottingham Forest in 2023, and he runs the touchline, pulls out Luis Diaz's shirt and turns to all 4 corners of the crowd, because obviously it was the first game Liverpool playing after Diaz's parents had been kidnapped back in Colombia, and it shows his role in that Liverpool squad, how he was so caring for all his teammates, and he was loved by them all. I've seen some suggestions from like Portugal over the years that had been a fractured camp, but he was someone who helped unify it because he belonged to all the groups, and it's probably the same for Liverpool. Not that Liverpool have ever been fractured, but he never seemed to be in any cliques, did he? He was just popular with every single one of his teammates, and he's a leading player in that camp. It's just shocking news, and it says so much to the player and the person that he's getting all these tributes from some big names in the world of football, and it's going to carry on, isn't it, for days and days to come now. And this is going to have ramifications into pre-season, into the new season. Like we've already said, Liverpool back in pre-season trading in a few days' time, and he would have been right at the heart of that.
I wonder whether they might give the players some more time off to deal with this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised. Ian Rush is another one, club ambassador, obviously top scorer for Liverpool. I'm deeply saddened and shocked by the heartbreaking news of the passing of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. My heartfelt condolences go to his wife, children, and everyone in his family, as well as his friends and supporters. I've received emails from several listeners. Julian Baxendale's emailed me to say how sad he is. It's beyond words, and as Theo said, this will be something that the club is going to have to take a very long time, may never come to terms with.
Yeah, I mean, they probably won't. You know, it's something like this has never happened before, has it? Obviously, the club have got tragedies in its history with, you know, Hillsborough and Heartfelt and stuff like this, but this is the first time that an actual, you know, sort of a player at that sort of height of his career has passed away, hasn't he? You know, it's particularly in such dramatic and shocking circumstances. You know, a car accident while on holiday, just shocking. You know, it's difficult to put into words. You know, even before when we were trying to cover it, and you just keep writing, you know, Liverpool, you know, Diogo Jota's death, you know, passing, you know, Liverpool star passes away. All these sorts of phrases are just surreal. You know, seeing them sort of published on our website, just heartbreaking for obviously for his family and friends and his colleagues, but you know, particularly his wife and his children. You know, he's only just got married, hasn't he? You know, less than, was it a fortnight ago? Three children, like we say. It's them who are going to have to, you know, sort of live with this and carry this with them for the rest of their lives. It's just, you know, obviously the club will look to make things as comfortable as possible and do whatever they can do to help, which, you know, is, you'd expect nothing less really, and we'll see what happens with that in the coming weeks and days and whatever. But, you know, for them, I don't know how you even begin to pick yourself up and carry on. It's just heartbreaking for them all. It really is.
Double tragedy as well. So like you lose someone, you think, oh, you can turn to the relatives, share your memories. Well, they've lost their uncle, they've lost his brother. It's heartbreaking for the whole family.
Yeah. Yeah, there will be Portugal women play Spain women's team tonight in the Euros. They'll wear black armbands, hold a minute's silence. I'm sure there will be more tributes to come. The Portuguese FA, UEFA, Premier League, lots of clubs. Everton have paid a really classy tribute to Diogo Jota. So, you know, those tributes will keep coming in over the next days, weeks, months. And I'm sure Liverpool will do something fitting. There's been some talk of retiring the 20 shirt, that sort of thing, which is would be very fitting. Look, we'll leave it there. I don't necessarily think there's too much more to say, other than we are so very sorry and pay our deepest respects and send our thoughts to Diogo's family, his children, his wife, his friends, and everyone at Liverpool, because the club and many staff who work alongside Diogo Jota, and they will be in a very difficult place right now. So we send our thoughts to them. Anything else either of you two want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I guess just everything we've already spoken about. You know, just what a great player he was, great person by all accounts. You know, limited dealings with him, but he always come across as, like I say, you know, really intelligent, and just a tragic loss for the football world, really.
And this is when the mantra, you'll never walk alone, shines through again, isn't it? Everyone unifying together, supporting each other, coming through this. It's going to be such a awful time for his family and all his loved ones, but the support of each other can get through it.
We'll leave it there. Thank you for listening. All the best. Goodbye.